Hi everyone, Dark Ramos here with the Volume Profile Nerd, here to do my morning prep for Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. Hope everyone had a long and restful weekend. We did have a longer weekend the past few days because of Memorial Day. But yeah, I'll jump right into the morning prep / rundown. So pretty straightforward this morning. We had gap up opens on both we have gap up opens on both ES and NQ. So gap rules are in play. Go with gaps that don't fill right away, and how much gap fill there is, if any at all, will be telling. We do have a fairly larger gap on ES, about 20 handles or so, and on NQ it's over 100 handles. So those gaps are usually a little bit harder to fill, but we'll see if sellers do attempt that gap fill. But buyers look pretty good. They had a really big day on Friday, so we'll see if they want to continue to press the issue today. So we are above the value area high from Friday on both indices. So on ES, it's right here at roughly 421,850. So the value area high will be a key downside reference for buyers to hold to try and build value higher. So yeah, for ES, that is roughly 421,850, and for NQ, that is roughly 14,368.50 right here. So so buyers are still okay if we hold this value area high, because buyers could still attempt to build value higher, and that might look like a 12-hour higher low on the futures, or maybe a 4-hour higher low on the ETFs. So if we go to QQQ, let's take a look. It could be a 4-hour higher low there, or maybe a 12-hour higher low on the futures. We did get a little pullback here, so maybe it's a little 12-hour bull flag, and sellers look to continue to press the issue. But yeah, long story short, like, sellers haven't proven too much yet, so just going to keep an eye on that to see if buyers want to press the issue. But we do have a second gap up open in a row. So I'll quickly go over the goal for buyers. So goal for buyers is to stay above the open, and for minimal gap fill to try and continue to press the issue. Buyers will then want acceptance over the overnight high. We'll want acceptance over the overnight high. No change for day plus buyers if no acceptance over the overnight high, as we made a new high in the overnight session, and cash market buyers want to affirm overnight buyers. So day plus buyers do want acceptance over the overnight high here on ES, and the same on NQ. We want acceptance over the overnight high. So goal for sellers on ES is to stay below the open and try to attempt to fill the large gap as step 1. After that, sellers will want to find acceptance under the regular trading hours high / overnight low, which are fairly close to each other right here. And if acceptance under the regular trading hours high and overnight low, sellers should be looking for the value area high right down here at 421,850. And after the value area high, it is the previous day close right here at 421,325. And if acceptance below the PDC or previous day close, eyes on the POC at 420,650. And if below the POC, eyes on the value area low at around 420,250. We then have the regular trading hours low, which is quite a ways away. Sellers would be happy with a gap and hold day, maybe a gap and hold, something like this. They'd be happy with a gap and hold day, or an attempt to get back into Friday's value with this gap up open this morning. No change for day plus sellers without acceptance under the regular trading hours low, which I don't think is the more likely scenario. I think we either get maybe a gap and hold day, or buyers press the issue, or we try to get to the value area high and maybe oscillate down here for a bit, as I think buyers will want to defend yesterday's value given the large move from Friday. So goal for sellers on NQ is to stay below the open and try to attempt to fill the large gap as step 1. So they want to fill this gap here. And after that, sellers will be looking to find acceptance under the overnight low, regular trading hours high, and value area high. They're all relatively close to each other here. with the value area high being at 14,368.50. And so I just, I think sellers would want acceptance above these three references for conviction. For conviction into getting back into Friday's value and filling the gap here. If acceptance under the overnight low, value area high, regular trading hours high, eyes on the PDC/POC, which are relatively close to each other, around the same level. 14,332.50 is the PDC. And if acceptance under the PDC/POC, eyes on the value area low at 14,223.50. And after the value area low, we have the regular trading hours low, and no change for day plus sellers without getting below the regular trading hours low, which again, I don't think is the more likely scenario given this large gap up open. So again, I think we either maybe gap and hold, or if sellers attempt to get back into yesterday's value, I think buyers should be playing defense around here, the overnight low and value area high. And we do have quite a few 1 minute ranges that sellers would have to get through before convincingly getting back into Friday's value. So I'll quickly, on ES, I'll show those 1 minute ranges that I've drawn up from Friday's session. So they're quite a few. Yeah, there's one here, there's a couple here, and here. So I think sellers would have to get through all of this to convincingly get back into Friday's value. First step, they'd have to get over the high of Friday to attempt to get back into Friday's value. So buyers are positioned well on both the ES and NQ to continue to press the issue. If not, it could be a gap and hold type of day, which buyers would be fine with. And sellers would actually want that to try to negate buyers from building value in the next couple days. And buyers would be happy with a gap and hold day as well, because they've been in control for, Friday session was really big. So if a gap and hold day, they could take a breather and maybe continue the move in the next few days. All right. So the 1 minute ranges I have for NQ are multiple passes through the open would be suggestive of maybe a gap and hold type of day if there's low conviction on either side. But given the, I don't know, we'll see, because I think more buyers might be wanting to enter the market, so we shall see. But for NQ, I have these 1 minute ranges, one here, one here, one here, and one here from Friday's session, which sellers would have to get through to convincingly get back into Friday's value. Especially they would have to get under this one to, and get under the POC/PDC essentially to convincingly get back into Friday's value. Okay. So I have those reference, and they would have to get over this little high here, to convincingly get back into Friday's. I guess I could draw that up. It's not the widest range. There's not too much action there, but sellers would have to get through this to convincingly get back into Friday's value. Okay, something like that. All right, looks good. And we have some overnight ranges here that sellers would have to get through on both ES and NQ. Might be worth drawing up actually on NQ, because sellers would have to get at a bare minimum through all of this sideways here. To get back into the lower end of the overnight session. Something like this. Okay, that's where I think sellers should be trying to get to. On ES, we have this little sideways action here at the beginning of the overnight session, which I think sellers would need to get through for conviction into getting into the lower end of the overnight session. But yeah, I like regular trading hour session ranges a bit more. There's more volume in the regular trading hours session, but given the large gap, I think it might be prudent to draw these up. So yeah, the value, the POC held here and held here, so could be a good reference to see if sellers can get below this range, and if sellers can't and buyers find acceptance back above, that's also could be pretty telling. So yeah, so that might be a good thing to monitor on ES there. All right, so let's go to the daily for both ES and NQ. On the daily, buyers should be looking for the value area high of this 729, 8, 10, 22 range, and it's roughly 424,650. And if we don't get there, it'll be notable because sellers will then want to get to the POC here at 420,550, and this POC here coincides roughly with the POC of Friday's value, which is at 420,650. So if we get back there, it means we're getting back to the POC of Friday's value. Okay, and on the daily, NQ pretty much kind of top ticked. We didn't quite get there, but got fairly close to this 411, 421, 22 range at 457,875, which is the value area high. So if we don't find acceptance above this, sellers should be looking for the POC here at roughly 14,362.50 on the daily. And that coincides roughly with the value area high of Friday. So the value area high is 14,368.50, and that POC is 14,362.50. So relatively close to that value area high. So if we get acceptance, if we pull back under the value area high and no acceptance, that would be fine for buyers. It means we're getting to that POC, and we're just consolidating a bit, and maybe buyers try to get back to the value area high and maybe attempt to break this daily range here. Okay, so just keeping an eye on that. And yeah, so that's the dailies and the dailies and the day time frame references. So now let's quickly go over the hourlies for both indices. So for ES, and let me just grab the day time frame references here. For ES, let's see, regular trading hours high. So for ES, we would have to get under this POC of the 822, 825 range to try and fill the gap, essentially. So if we don't get under this POC, then there's no gap fill. And then sellers do want to get under the value area low of this 822, 825, 22 range to convincingly get back to the POC of Friday's range. And then sellers would want acceptance under this range and this range to attempt to get back to the regular trading hours low. If we get below this POC and under this value area low, that means sellers are convincingly getting back into yesterday's value right here. And if under this range, it means sellers are getting below yesterday's value. So if under this, sellers should be looking, to try and get to the regular trading hours low, which again, I don't think is really the more likely scenario. But yeah, if buyers press the issue again, we do have the value area high here of this hourly range, and then there's quite a bit of a gap here between this hourly range and this hourly range up here. I did go back, and I don't think there's much in between there. Let me just double check. Yeah, there's not. Well, yeah, no. I think buyers could have another easy go to get there. Well, we have this little bit here, and that's actually not too bad. Let me draw this up here. Yeah, something like this. I think, yeah, buyers would have to get above that bit of balance. So we shall see. And this should look more like something like this. Yeah, I like that a bit more. Yeah, definitely. Yep. All right, cool. So yeah, buyers would need to get above this value area high and then above this range here. And I didn't date it. So let me go back and just add the date. So this is from August 25th. Yeah, August 25th. So 8/25/22. Cool. Yeah, so I think that's what buyers do have to contend with on the day for ES. All right. So buyers want to convincingly get above this little range to then maybe try to tag this up here. Okay. So on NQ, let's do the hourlies and day time frame references. Grab this. All right, so NQ on the hourly, we do want acceptance over this range to try to get to the 3/18/22 range up here to convincingly get above the overnight high. And sellers want under this range to get back into yesterday's value. So if we're under this 419, 421, 22 range, that means sellers could be trying to get back into yesterday's value. Then if we get acceptance back to the value area low of this 418, 419 range, that means we are convincingly back in yesterday's value. And if below this 418, 419 hourly range, that means sellers should be trying to get closer to the regular trading hours low, which is at the value area low of this 421.22 range, 421, 422.22 range. And sellers would need to get through this to try to tag the regular trading hours low. So if sellers get below this, they should have an easy go to try and get to this range down here. Okay. So yeah, if buyers find acceptance above this value area high, 419.22, 421.22, then eyes on the POC of this 318, 322 range at 14,663.50, which is right here. So yeah, I don't think the more likely scenario is that we get to this regular trading hours low, as sellers would have to get through all of this here to get there. But again, if it's a gap and hold, we could maybe oscillate here around this hourly range on NQ. And for ES, it could be something like this as well. So yeah, just gonna let it is the first day after a long weekend, so I'm gonna see how things play out. I'm gonna use my day time frame references. If we pull back, I think I'll be looking more for scalps if we pull back first thing. But if buyers, convincingly hold at some key levels, then I might look for an aggressive long, but we shall see. Yeah, so that's all I got for ES and NQ. Let's quickly go through the sectors and tech. So SPY gap up open. We are above a daily value area high. I have to grab the next range. So QQQ, we're back into a daily range. So buyers could be eyeing the POC right up here at 35895. So I'll just quickly go through it. XLF, not a gap up open, but closer to the high of yesterday with the POC above at 3234. IWM, gap up open. We do have a value area high right above. XLE, gap down open, so showing relative weakness this morning relative to the other sectors. And we do have a POC down here at 7703, right down here. XBI, gap up open. We do have this daily range here that buyers would need to get back into. Otherwise, we could just oscillate maybe in here between these two daily ranges. But I'm thinking buyers should be looking for this POC here at 85.49 with the gap up open. XLV, weaker sector, gap down open. Will be notable if buyers hold this POC here, but I'm thinking sellers want to get to this value area low here at roughly 12537 right down here, because we couldn't find acceptance above this daily range here. XLU, testing its high of yesterday. Buyers want above this high of yesterday to get above this daily range, and get to the value area low of this daily range, and maybe to the POC here, but we haven't even tested this POC, so I wouldn't be surprised if sellers try for this POC here at 63.69. Okay, SMH, another gap up open. I think buyers should be looking for this POC here at 152.44. It'll be notable to me if we stall there after such a big move, and maybe sellers look for some consolidation and maybe something like this, and buyers look to hold this value area low, which is the hourly pivot from Friday. But if we get below this value area low, we do have a bit of space here in between these two daily ranges. So I'm thinking sellers could be trying to get back to 140.59 if we don't get acceptance above this POC here. All right, so let's go to tech. So Apple, gap up open. Buyers should be looking for this value area high here at roughly 179.07 right here. Yeah, that's Apple. Amazon, gap up, small gap up open. We're contending with this little range here. If we don't get acceptance back in here, sellers should be looking for the value area high here at 118.25. Netflix, yeah, pretty large gap up open. I don't have any daily ranges up there, so I might have to look for them. But Netflix looking strong, probably one of the stronger tech names this morning. Google, yeah, contending with this daily value area low. You know, buyers want acceptance back into here to head to the POC at 129.76. But if no acceptance back into here, sellers should be looking back at the POC of this daily range at 125.78. Okay, Microsoft, yeah, and Google, yeah, gap up open. Microsoft, gap up open. We're at the value area high here of this daily range. If no acceptance above, eyes on the POC first at 335.02, and then sellers should try for the value area low here at 322. 322.35. But that could take a while if sellers try for this. Buyers would have to convincingly not find acceptance above this daily value area high. Meta, gap up open above this daily range. I don't have another range up there, so I'm going to have to find them. Yeah, so buyers want acceptance to the next range once I have that drawn up, which will probably be... Oh, there's a pretty big gap here. Yeah, I'm thinking this little piece right here. Something like this. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I think that's what, if buyers get above this range, we should be heading to the daily value area low at 279.14. Will be notable if we get there, but you know, buyers could do something like this maybe to try to get up there. Tesla, gap up open. We have a value area high or low at 206.56. And that is from, yeah, this daily range right here. Okay, so I'm thinking that's where buyers should be trying to head to next. And that's roughly, yeah, 206.56. If it's kind of a gap and go scenario, I think buyers should be looking for that. NVDA, gap up open, and just blue sky breakout. So we'll see if buyers continue to press the issue. And yeah, so that's all I got for today. For the morning rundown and prep, and we shall see. So buyers still looking strong, and yeah, just gonna take it one moment at a time. Gonna pay attention to the daily levels. We're at some key value area high levels on the daily, but also going to pay attention to the day time frame references. Will sellers fill the gap? Will it be a gap and hold day? Will buyers continue to press the issue? Multiple passes through the open and could be suggestive of balance. So yeah, just going to keep an open mind and, just one step at a time, use my kind of game theory and my approach to the markets to try to, capitalize on some good moves. All right. So yeah, thanks everyone. I'll be starting with the micros initially to warm up, especially after a long weekend. Got to take a couple practice shots. And then just try to get a sense for, what the market's trying to do. Going to let the market kind of show its hand a little bit. But we'll definitely take a few practice shots with micros. And yeah, just continue to improve as a trader. But yeah, that's my morning prep. There's also the AI sector, which is doing really well. But I'm just going to focus on one thing at a time. Going to focus on the futures at the moment, especially after a long weekend. Just want to try and stay as focused as I can. All right, so yeah, that is it for the morning prep. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the trade review later today. Thank you. Bye.